Hey y'all, what's up? This is Nikki and I have another book review for you. It's Glorious and it's written by Bernice L. McFadden. And I wanted to tell you about this book. I finished reading it a couple of days ago. I ordered it through the mail and I really wanted to take some time to absorb it because Miss Bernice, she spent years researching these factual events and then molding them into a story for us. She brought things to life, that different facts that you had heard about maybe in school about the Jim Crow South, about the Harlem Renaissance, about the Civil Rights era. I'm too young to know it, to have experienced those times, but the way she worded them, I could imagine myself in those places. So I wanted to give it, respect and honor and not rush through it, to really just, absorb it and take my time with it. And the book was well written, well thought out. I really enjoyed reading it and I wanted to share a little bit of it with you. And basically it's about a dream deferred. Have you ever wanted something so bad you could taste it and yet it was snatched from you? You knew it was your time to shine. You were on top. You were, you just knew it was your time. And then the rug was pulled from up under you. So basically, for me, that's what I believe the whole premise of the book was about. And like I said, it brought some things from the past to life. So the main characters in the book, it's Easter. She's a protagonist. She has Rain, that's one of her homegirls who's like a hoochie coochie dancer. There is Meredith, the Caucasian lady who was Easter's sponsor, her benefactor, towards the middle of the book. Easter had a husband, and there was some really good parts in here, some really good characters, but what I loved most were hearing about the authors, like James Baldwin, about Langston Hughes, about Zora Neale Hurston, how she interwove them into different parts of the story as if she was there. So I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to read you an excerpt, and then I will tell you what I thought of the book. So this excerpt comes from the very beginning. And at this point, Easter has left her home. She's left her home. Her mother has died. Her sister has been abused. Her dad has taken a wife the next day after his wife died. And so she left home. And she goes to her mother's sister, who she has never met. And she starts working in another town. Okay, so this is what's going on. The killing spree started that evening. 3 innocent men were lynched over just as many nights, and on the dawn of the 4th day, a woman's terrified screams echoed through the blue darkness. Another one has, as she tiptoed to the front door. Is it a woman this time? Even as Mavis uttered the words, she couldn't believe it. Who you think they got? Easter whispered. Mavis, her aunt, stared wide-eyed. The 2 women had used the kitchen table and chairs to build a barricade in front of the door, and now Easter began to quickly dismantle it. What are you doing? Mavis' voice was filled with panic. Easter ignored the question. Help me move this table. Mavis backed away. I will not. Easter summoned all of her strength and pushed the table. It slid across the floor, and Easter pulled the front door open and stepped out onto the porch. Get your black ass back in here, gal. Are you crazy? The torch-wielding mob stomped past the house, and Easter hitched her gown above her ankles and started after them. Mavis didn't call to Easter again. She watched her niece sprint down the road and was sure it would be the last time she would see Easter alive, and so turned her face to the heavens and asked God to make Easter's death swift and painless. Taking shelter behind a tree, Easter stood unnoticed, not more than 3 feet from a mother who had her arm wrapped casually around the shoulders of her young son. The abducted woman shrieked out again. Easter recognized the voice, and the hairs on the back of her neck stood up. The crowd parted, and Easter's eyes fell on Mary Turner's terrified face. Mary stood whimpering and shivering with her arms wrapped protectively around her swollen belly. Someone yelled, "String the bitch up!" Isaac, a big, brawny, red-haired man, shoved Mary hard to the ground, and 2 men rushed forward, one bracing her flailing legs, the other pinning her arms, both taking pleasure in digging their dirty fingernails into her brown flesh. Isaac wound the coarse lynch rope once, twice, 3 times around her ankles, and then did the same to her wrists. Castor, Isaac turned to the crowd and yelled for his son. Castor! The woman who stood spitting distance from Easter bent over and whispered in her son's ear. Go on, Castor. Your daddy's calling you. Castor dutifully trotted over to Isaac, and a jubilant cheer rose up from the crowd. "This is my boy's first lynching," Isaac proudly announced, and he handed Castor the tight end of the rope. The boy appeared to Easter to be no more than 5 years old. Isaac hoisted his son up and onto his broad shoulders. "Toss it over the limb," Isaac instructed, which Castor did successfully on his first try. 10 pairs of hands and dozens of mouths heaved and hoed, and Mary's body slowly rose up, up, up until she swung like a pendulum, ticking away the seconds until she would be dead. Someone threw a stone that struck her over her eye. The next stone caught her squarely in the center of her forehead. The third one sliced her cheek. All of this as Mary begged for her life, and her eyes cried a waterfall of tears. There was a splashing sound, and the night air was suddenly filled with the scent of gasoline. Again, Castor was called upon. "Come in, Castor." His father handed him a torch, and Castor wrapped his small fingers around the stem. The flames cast a luminous light across his face. The boy was smiling. Time stopped for a moment, and when it started again, Mary was ablaze. So you've heard the excerpt, and I'm going to tell you what I thought about the book. So don't listen to this part if you want to read the book and you don't want me to spoil it for you. I enjoyed the book. I love history, and so I was really thrilled to see how she wove the facts into the novel. I really wanted to know more about Easter, what happened to her sister that was raped. I wanted to know, how did she turn out? Did she ever gain her voice again? I wanted to know what happened to her dad, what happened to his wife, did that marriage survive, and what was the stepmother like. But I guess it really wasn't about her family. It was more about Easter and her dream. I would have wanted to know a little bit about that. I also would have wanted to know how Meredith, the benefactor, how she died. And I would have really wanted to see that she got her just due. Now, I knew she was addicted to drugs, but I would have wanted to know, did that kill her? Because she was low down and dirty. She was wealthy. She did not need the money from that contest, but it was like she didn't have her own skills, so she had to steal something that Easter had. She had to steal Easter's glory, and that upset me. But that's life. You know, a lot of times we do things, we work hard, and somebody else gets the credit for it. You know, that's just how life can be sometimes, you know. And I think there's even like a verse in the Bible in Psalms, and it says, like, a dream deferred makes the heart sick. And that's what I thought about when I was reading this. It was a really good novel. If you like reading books by Harlem Renaissance authors, you like this book. I could definitely see the time and the detail, and that this book was not thrown together haphazardly. And so I appreciate that big time, Miss McFadden. So I just want to say I enjoyed it. What I kind of wanted to know too was Rain. I was curious about Rain because Easter was infatuated with Rain for a very long time, and I kind of, in a way, wanted Rain to learn how to read really well so that she could have read Easter's diary and saw all the thoughts that Easter had about her over the years. And it was just curious because you never really hear about lesbians back in the day. I mean, you know that people have been love is universal, and love didn't always have the names like homosexual or heterosexual. I mean, love has just always been there, even in colonial Africa. You know, it's always been there, even though people didn't say it was homosexuals. Guys that walked around holding hands. I mean, it's not nothing new to our culture, and I know it didn't just start existing in the 21st century. But it was just nice to, it was just interesting to see it in the book because you didn't really hear much about it. Even though, they did it in the Flapper days. You could tell by some of the pictures from back in the day. And I could actually picture it. The writing was really descriptive. I hated the fact that Easter's husband, that he was killed, he was set up, but that's the same stuff that's happened for a while. Oh, and then she interwove Marcus Garvey in the story, which I thought was really neat, and she even went so far as to put how he had like an FBI cop infiltrating. Just stuff like that. It was a really good read. So if you get a chance, read it. If you've already read it, send me a message. Let me know what's up so we can talk about it some more. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you get a chance, read it. I'm trying to just read all of her books. I really like her writing style. So that's why you've been seeing books lately about her that I've written that are her books that are authored by her. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm not going to take too much of your time. Thanks for watching. Bye.